So we take the concept of kind of older, younger, maybe there's a middle generation, and just like everything we do here at Personality Hacker, our attempt is to create more fidelity in understanding the frameworks that we see the world through. So we do this with personality types, right? We take the idea of personality types. And in fact, on the last episode, we talked about how we move from stereotypes and meme understanding of type, of personality, something we might see on the internet on a social media post and resonate with, and like, oh, that's just, those 5 characteristics are just like me, all the way up to deep work with archetypal energy and Jungian cognitive functions, dips into shadow work. There's a bunch of things that can be unpacked on a timeline of understanding about personality type. Mm-hmm. And our work here at Personality Hacker has often been helping create frameworks to understand, sort that information, sort that understanding, learn more about the self, and understand ourselves through the lens of particular systems like Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram and other systems like that. Well, I think we could bring some understanding also to generations and people groups at age levels, different age groups of people. There's probably some more fidelity we can use here as well. And this would require us to bring in generational theory. Mm-hmm. And we have a particular model of generational theory that we've already talked about on this show multiple times, years past. It might be even 5 years ago at this point.
It's been a minute.
Approaching.
Yeah.
So you can go look up some of those episodes where we have Jesse Newbern, who brought some thinking around this to the table. But I wanted to revisit that today. Mm-hmm. Maybe offer just another relook at this. Mm-hmm. Let's resurface this idea of generational theory. And what does it help us understand about our world and our movement forward as all generations, as all people?
Yep.
No matter our personality type.
Yep. And I love generational theory. I really do. I unapologetically love the theory. And I should also note that it's just a model, just like all the other models. And one of my favorite quotes about models is that all models are untrue or false, but some models are useful. And this is one that I find very useful, but it's also touchy. People don't like the idea of putting generations into any sort of model or archetypes. I've noticed that it's almost like this, there's a reluctance to see an entire group of people who were born at approximately the same time period as having any sort of definable characteristics. And yet, isn't that basically what culture is? Yeah. Culture is built of people who were all alive at the same time, receiving similar messaging, similar, influences in their life. And so there's imprints that end up happening at that time period that get sort of etched in as part of a way of looking at the world, a way of looking at reality, part of your paradigm, whether you're conscious or not, right? Or consciously aware of it or not. So I don't think that this is like a personality type system like other systems are, where that indicate how we're sort of pre-wired to be fascinated by certain things. This is more of a nurture than nature model. It's more like, okay, what time period were you alive during at certain very key moments in your life? And how did that influence you and all the people who were alive in approximately that age bracket, in approximately that time period? How did it, help craft how you see reality? And there seems to be some patterns to that. There seems to be some enough pattern recognition in all of that to be able to create a 500-year cyclical theory of generational theory. And I think it's well worth going over, particularly since we're in a time period, like you mentioned, of tension, of, oh God, is it the end? Is this all going to crash and burn? And if you look at even the current zeitgeist through the lens of generational theory, it's predicted. This is a time period that we just have to get through. And we've been here before and we'll be here again. I mean, fingers crossed. I guess one of these times could take us all out. I mean, fingers crossed it won't. But these are cycles. And so I have found actually great, relief in generational theory.
Yeah.
Even if it's not empirically true, it reminds me of spirals. It reminds me of just kind of being in these cyclical, seasons where people go through sort of archetypal patterns, find themselves in similar positions as they found themselves before, and then look at all of the time periods we've been there before and the ways that we overcame them or survived them, making it so that we're very likely to do it again. Mm-hmm.